What is the most intimate way to show affection to a... Let me finish! I was gonna say to a friend! Okay then. I mean, if that's you, then I got nothing against it. But for those of you normal people, with a friend you probably wouldn't go further than just a good old hug. So that makes hugs so important to get right. It's another key to good friendships and beyond. Really? 3 times? Not to mention that's a recycled clip from the touching video, which you can check out over here, by the way. Okay, enough. So, although it's a crucial social skill that you should no doubt master, there are many different ways to hug someone, some of which are a little worse than others. So then how do I hug someone properly? That's why I'm here. I'ma first run through many of the different ways to hug, including
the whatever hug, the bear hug, the friendly hug, the friend zone hug, the non-existent, the mess up, the back hug, the lower back hug, the too long hug, the lift up hug, the try to lift up but gets lifted up hug, the tackle, the hug to take down, and the perfect hug.
Yup. Well, maybe some of them were a little exaggerated, but these are definitely some common hugs that you see. I'm gonna explain the common mistakes that happen with each one, when you should be using each one, and other useful tips. Let's go.
The I don't care hug. You know those limp handshakes? This is like a hug equivalent of that. Nobody appreciates this. Show some enthusiasm. It takes courage to go in for a hug. So when they do, make their effort count. Reciprocate their passion. The bear hug. But don't try to crush their spine either. You want a hug to have just enough of a squeeze for them to know that you care, but not so much like a Kuma hug. And just to point out, this one goes for both your friends and your significant other.
You don't even have one.
Shut up!
Don't be afraid to hug your friend tightly, especially if the moment calls for it and you guys are both emotional and bonding. Just go for it.
Now I'm gonna give you a spine-breaking bear hug for being such a good friend.
Speaking of friends, the friendly hug. This is a good alternative if you don't feel comfortable with a tight, intimate hug, as this one's more relaxed. So it's really suitable with friends that are like one level down from your BFFs. You know what I mean? And it's also a good one between guy friends that don't want to be too touchy. The friend zone hug. Yep, exactly what it sounds like. Can't help you there. If a chick or dude hugs you like this, then you're friend zoned. No hope, buddy. The non-existent. This basically conveys the same message as the friend zone hug. Not sure which one's worse.
I'm just kidding. People will do this if they don't feel like they're comfortable enough for a hug yet. It's a good indication that you guys might not be at that level of intimacy yet. Don't stress too much. Just nail that handshake at hand. And if you really want to get close to that person, then attempt another hug after a while. Do not ruin your chances for the future by acting annoyed here, whether this is just with a friend who you're trying to get close to, or that cute chick or guy that you're crushing on. Actually, having said all that, there's a possibility that it was just a mistake. As in, they're comfortable with a hug, but thought that you were just going for a handshake, so... which brings me to the next one.
The mess up. Open your eyes, pay attention and pick up cues. Although this one is on the other person too if it happens. But a good tip to prevent awkward mistakes is to open your arms before you get close enough for a hug. That way, when you guys are in hugging range, there will be less confusion. The back hug. Now this is one of the more intimate hugs. I wouldn't attempt this one with your friends. Save it for your significant other.
Still don't have one.
Yo, stop reminding me!
The lower back hug. Same with this one, a little too creepy for anyone other than your boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever.
Don't even...
The too long hug. Know when to let go. A regular go-to hug should be somewhere around 2 to 3 seconds. But just pay attention to the other person. If it feels like they're pulling away, go with it. The lift up hug. Yeah, I guess this is another fun one to do with your partner. The try to lift up but gets lifted up hug. Yeah, I don't know what to say for this one. The tackle. I guess this happens when you're too excited to see them? The hug to take down.
Okay, I'll be honest. I put those in because I thought they were funny. On to the very last, and what you've all been waiting for.
The perfect hug.
This is one that can be done on anyone. You can never go wrong, no matter what the situation is or who you're hugging. So how to do?
Unlike the whatever or bear hug, you're gonna squeeze them with just the right amount of pressure. Unlike the too long hug, it'll be no more than a couple seconds. You'll also pay attention to cues so you don't confuse the both of you. And because you know your boundaries, you'll use a right hug on the right person, depending on your relationship, so you don't touch them in inappropriate areas, or accidentally friend zone an unlucky fella. And on top of these, you would have been kind enough to not judo throw or tackle them. And the product of all this put together is the perfect hug. Just beautiful.
So that's about it, guys. Hugs are a great way to build stronger relationships and intimacy. It's not something that people do all the time with everybody they know. It's not a handshake. It would lose its impact if it were. So, in the few times that you do come across the opportunity, make it count. Think about it. Hugging involves personal space. So for someone to be okay with you hugging them, then that must mean they're comfortable with you. So if they come in for one, you better make absolute sure not to screw it up. And on a different note, I understand that amount of physical contact might not be for everyone. But that's okay. You don't ever have to enjoy initiating hugs. But that is not an excuse to be a shitty hugger, because like I said, when others initiate it, you want to accept it and reciprocate the good intention. Or you could just pull the non-existent.